Alright, it's time to go around the NFL as we always do after another week in the books for the 2015 NFL season. Top 5 thoughts around the league. With 5 games outside of this past week's Eagles loss to the Carolina Panthers, they caught my attention. Things going on around the league, catching my attention. And starting with number 5, going down the list here. Starting with the NFC East. New York Giants bounce back. Of course, after getting kind of shut down last week against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Back in Black game, the New York Giants bounce back versus the Cowboys and retake the division lead in the NFC East, of course. Once again, right back from the Eagles. Last week they were tied 3-3, of course. 3-3 records, that is. And Giants back above 500. Beating the mistake-prone Cowboys, of course, with Matt Castle making his debut for the Dallas Cowboys, starting that game. And, well, let's just say, certainly 3 interceptions, only 1 touchdown pass is not an ideal way to start your stint with the Dallas Cowboys here. As Tony Romo continues to be absent with his injury. Cowboys lost their 4th straight. And obviously, they need to stop the bleeding for their, obviously for their season. But, of course, a couple weeks, coming out of the bye, the Eagles have a revenge game against the Cowboys that they must win. We'll see if the Cowboys, can stop the bleeding enough so that in the end of the season, when Tony Romo and Dez Bryant are both back in the field, maybe it's less of an uphill battle for them to climb. But we'll let the Dallas Cowboys nation, I guess, worry about that. Number 4, Miami Dolphins have an offensive explosion against the Texans this past week. As the Dolphins win 2 straight, they move to 3-3. Starting to maybe come into a little bit of a form here, I guess you could say. 41 points scored in the first half. The game was pretty much over, 41-0 at halftime. To say the least, and the rest of the game was pretty much garbage, as the game was pretty much already over. Ryan Tannehill, 18 for 19, 282 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Can you believe? That's like almost every 4 throws almost is a touchdown pass. 282 yards out of that. Lamar Miller running for the Miami Dolphins, 14 carries for 175 yards and a touchdown. Talk about a field day for those guys in the Miami Dolphins. Offensive explosion. Of course, Ryan Mallett, I guess supposedly missed the team flight for the Houston Texans on the other side of the game there, and ultimately was released as a result of that. So I guess telling him to get out. The Houston Texans and Ryan Mallett now a free agent, I guess. And certainly the Texans, they're not having a good season. They're now at 2-5. So I guess J.J. Watt continues to try to carry that defense on its back. Number 3, the Minnesota Vikings get a division win against the Detroit Lions. I know the Lions are 1-6 and having a terrible season, but this is still a division win on the road. And the Minnesota Vikings, ladies and gentlemen, are 4-2. A very possible wild card team this year, the way they're playing. 28-19, Teddy Bridgewater, 25 for 35, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns. Having a pretty good season. They're heading in the right direction, and Bridgewater's playing like a pretty solid quarterback. And certainly the Vikings are 4-2 right now. You look around the rest of the NFC right now, the Vikings are very much in wild card contention as we get down the stretch later on in the season. They continue to play the way they're playing. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts lose their second straight game. This one, though, to the New Orleans Saints. Colts fall to 3-4. Now, they're still, nevertheless, leading the worst division in football. At this rate, who knows? This could be the worst. Wait and see how things play out the rest of the season. This could be the worst division in NFL history. You got the Colts are 3-4 now, ahead of the division. 1-3 at home, by the way. I don't know how that's possible. You got the Titans. Of course, Marcus Mariota sprained MCL right now. Titans are 1-5. Texans are 2-5. Jaguars won this week, but they're 2-5. So really, I mean, can you believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans, despite being 2-5, they're very much right there to perhaps maybe take a division lead in the AFC South? Can you? I mean, can you believe that? I certainly can't. But nevertheless, the Colts, Andrew Luck, still with his banged up shoulder. Maybe just not up to par, it seems. 23 for 44. He had a few touchdowns, obviously, 333 yards, but still, I mean, just other than that, I mean, the Colts struggle against the Saints. And the Saints typically aren't a good road team. The Saints moved to 3-4, nevertheless. And number 1, there weren't a lot of good games this week. I mean, at least the way I look at it. You had, obviously, 3 undefeated teams on the bye, being the Denver Broncos, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Green Bay Packers. The Carolina Panthers remain undefeated. And yes, so do the New England Patriots, 6-0. They were down going into the fourth quarter. Patriots were down to the New York Jets. But with no run game whatsoever, really, the Patriots having trouble establishing the run game in this game at all. What do? They turn to Tom Brady 54 times this game. And in that fourth quarter, it just goes to show you that why Tom Brady just continues to, just light things up in the NFL this year. And just, again, machine-like in the fourth quarter. And just doing what you got to do to win the game. 355 yards, 34 for 54, 2 touchdowns. And again, I mean, Brady just, the guy is getting it done week in, week out. And this was a big win against the division rivals New York Jets, who had a chance to tie the Patriots at 5-1 records apiece, but the Patriots get some separation from the Jets in the standings of that division. 6-0, and the Jets now at 4-2. Big division win for the New England Patriots. And Tom Brady just, again, continues to light it up, and in my opinion, continues to perhaps build towards another Super Bowl run as we're approaching the month of November, ladies and gentlemen. And as far as the balls that he's been throwing, like Tom Brady would say,
to me, those balls are perfect.
With that in mind, that will conclude the top 5 thoughts around the NFL for this week. Again, I mean, we could say what we want about the New England Patriots and Deflategate and Bill Belichick and whatnot.
This is the end of this subject for me for a long time.
This team, they're 6-0 now, obviously. They're not the only ones in the AFC 6-0 when you got the Bengals and the Broncos, but Tom Brady is obviously the best quarterback in the AFC right now. And, obviously with Rodgers in the NFC, 1 and 2 in the league. And he just continues to play like he wants to win a Super Bowl this year, get his 5th one, and I guess prove that it wasn't a fluke last year with the whole deflated balls thing. And obviously that last week's game against the Indianapolis Colts at Indianapolis, and being the ones who initially were accusing the Patriots of this whole thing and Deflategate last, obviously it just another stepping stone. And again, once again, Tom Brady clutching the fourth quarter machine, but not to mention, as it pertains to the Eagles, the Patriots had a lot of drop balls as well, but nevertheless they're able to get it done, unlike the Philadelphia Eagles this past week against the Carolina Panthers. But they're on to a bye week, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, and there's some interesting stories to address, but we'll save that for the next video here in the Tyler Warner Show YouTube channel, because we got to go around the league in another way, and that is in a way called This Week in NFL Memes, Week 7 edition. Memes that people come up with, around the league and from various fan bases, and whether it be out of hate or just good fun. People finding ways to come up with creative NFL memes around the league. And of course, with things as they pertain to the league, games and whatnot, Ryan Mallett's probably going to be ticked off when he finds out that he's been cut. Here's to start things off, a meme with I guess in a poor city setting, a guy, I guess who I guess you would think is a gangster or something like that, whatever, sitting next to Ryan Mallett in his Houston Texans jersey, and the guy asking him, how you get fired on your day off. Again, Ryan Mallett, who missed his flight to the, and I guess some dissension there, once again, essentially released / cut from the Houston Texans. So, I guess happy trails for him.
Get out! Get out!
And the Texans are moving on from him. All right. The Baltimore Ravens are having a terrible season. 1-6. I can't believe they're 1-6. First of all, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk that the Baltimore Ravens would be 1-6? Well, here's a top 5, supposedly, Joe Flacco's 5 favorite plays. This isn't even really a meme, it's just a list. Number 1, throw it up and pray. Number 2, throw it up and pray. Number 3, throw it up and pray. 4, throw it up and pray. And 5, throw it up and pray. So, I guess, I don't know, maybe that's just somebody who's absolutely ticked off about Joe Flacco's playing this season with the Baltimore Ravens, or maybe it's just somebody else, who knows, but I guess the bottom line is Joe Flacco likes to throw it up and pray this season.
Oh God, ease our suffering in this our moment of great despair.
And if that be the case, well, they're 1-6, and I don't think it's really working. Now here's one with, I guess, was it Sesame Street? Now it's, bear with me on this because I haven't seen Sesame Street in years, and I really am not familiar, but it's, I guess, a purple guy with pointy ears, and I don't know, there's like bats around him. Whoever that is, I don't know, maybe those who are more familiar with Sesame Street, I guess maybe you can, fill in the blank there.
Who is
because
this?
I can't, but It's this guy, whoever I just described, whatever character from Sesame Street this is. Today's number for the Cowboys is 4. For 4 turnovers, 4 straight losses, and 4th place, obviously, in the NFC East division. So, yeah. Again, Castle, 3 of those 4 turnovers. And yeah, 4 straight losses, and now at the bottom of the NFC East. On the outside looking in, or at the bottom looking up, however you want to look at it. All right. Now, this is actually, now moving on. New England here's one with the New England Patriots. At the top, it's fans, and the meme reads 6-0 baby, undefeated season, here we come. And at the bottom, it's like a gray picture of somebody, like kind of a well-dressed male, sticking his hand up, with the meme reading, please, you beat the Jags, the Bills, the Colts, the injured Cowboys, and almost lost to the Jets. Calm down. I don't know. I haven't really read any of these or looked at any of these before I read them, but yeah, I mean, you can look at the Carolina Panthers and kind of say the same thing. I mean, the team, they didn't beat a whole lot of good teams either, but nevertheless, I mean, 6-0 is still 6-0, and I mean, they're still playing lights out. Not to mention at the time, I mean, the Bills were playing better football, and the Colts were determined. Obviously, it should have been to win that game against the Patriots and get revenge. And yeah, the Cowboys were injured. You can say that. And the Jets, against the best secondary perhaps in football right now. Again, Tom Brady. I mean, just surgeon-like, machine-like in the fourth quarter and whatnot. So I mean, still, division game against a formidable opponent. Still, I mean, I wouldn't go overboard, but I don't know. It's not a good meme. That one, I guess, a bit of a letdown. Now here's one with a hidden Nature Valley granola bar. And it's like photoshopped to read bleeping crumbs. And then at the bottom it says everywhere. You need like a bowl to eat this stuff. On a scale of 1 to Nature Valley granola bar. I guess insinuating how these things fall apart very easily and get crumbs everywhere. So on a scale of 1 to Nature Valley granola bar, how much is this Cowboys season falling apart? Again, Cowboys, 4 straight losses since losing Tony Romo. I guess they're going to get Dez Bryant back soon, but is that enough help still? Quarterback position, I mean, I don't know. Do the Giants, do they maybe run away with a little more? I don't totally think so. I think the Eagles knocked them down to size a little bit last week, but of course the Eagles themselves were knocked down to size by a better team this week. So, again, I mean, they want Tony Romo back soon, but the question is how much in the hole are the Cowboys going to be when Romo does finally come back, and even then, are they still going to be able to, I guess, win basically every game, even when Tony Romo does come back, and is that going to be enough? I don't know. Remains to be seen, I guess. Now here's kind of one with a WWE wrestling connection, I guess.
And no, I wasn't watching wrestling.
At halftime, of course, as I mentioned, the Miami Dolphins were supposedly up 42-0. against the Houston Texans. And then below that, for those who are familiar with the guy, good old JR, picture of him. And it reads, "Oh my God, somebody stop the damn match." So, I guess a bit of a wrestler for those who were familiar with the guy out there. I don't know who.
And no, I wasn't watching wrestling.
I don't know who out there. I mean, I think in general, if you've ever watched an episode of Monday Night Raw in the large gap of years that Jim Ross was commentating, I would think maybe you'd know who he is. Got cerebral palsy and whatnot. So, I tried my best there. I guess I wasn't really ready to do a Jim Ross impersonation there, but nonetheless, moving forward, I don't know, they're a little weak this week. I think the memes so far. Going through here, there's not too many good ones, really. And yeah, as a matter of fact, I just went through them all, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, with that in mind, that'll wrap things up for this week in NFL Memes, Week 7 edition. Yeah, again, and I was surprised, no ones that really talked about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm actually a little surprised, considering how many dropped footballs there are. In fact, let me just make sure, as I go through on this NFL Memes page, that I didn't miss any that perhaps included the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just not seeing them. No, I don't see any of them. I'm surprised. I mean, I would think that, for instance, for the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know. I mean, with all the balls that they dropped on offense, and then you look at the interception that Malcolm Jenkins made going the other way, and that did anybody, I mean, maybe they could just have Malcolm Jenkins, not just play safety, but also play wide receiver for this team, and maybe he would help out more than these wide receivers are. I don't know. After that incredible interception that he made this past week, I mean, who knows? But it really just goes to show you the sorry state of the Philadelphia Eagles receiving core right now, especially with Jordan Matthews just having a disappointing season and dropping the ball week in, week out, balls that need to be caught. And again, I mean, that Josh Huff somersault that might be the only touchdown he gets all season. I don't know. Riley Cooper, non-factor. Of course, Nelson Aguilar's injured. And then you got Miles Alston, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know, but we'll address more of that as we get, we're working through the bye week here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it's tough week to be an Eagles fan considering all those drops, but surprisingly, this week in NFL Memes did not feature any memes regarding the Philadelphia Eagles and all of their drop passes this past week. So thanks for tuning in. That'll wrap things up for this edition of the Tyler Werner Show, this video where we look around the NFL a little bit and see what's going on. Again, there were obviously 3 6-0 teams that were on the bye this week. So I think that made for a somewhat of a less interesting week in the NFL, I gotta say. Just some, when you have several good teams on the bye like that, several undefeated teams, obviously it makes for less suspenseful games, like say the Patriots and the Jets, where the Patriots were perhaps on the verge of losing their first game, and of course the Eagles and the Panthers, where the Eagles, you're just wondering if the Eagles were perhaps going to get something going there in the fourth quarter after that Ryan Matthews touchdown run, and unfortunately, Chip Kelly didn't really muster anything up there at the end, to build off of that Ryan Matthews touchdown run. Hint, hint. Definitely something that's going to be discussed in the next Tyler Warner Show video on this channel.
Was that like a wise ass comment?
No, it is certainly not. And certainly, you should stay tuned for that, because there's some interesting things to talk about as we get through the bye week here. Even though the Eagles do not have a game this weekend, nevertheless, there's still going to be some interesting things to talk about as it pertains to the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that in mind, check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/Tyler Warner Show. As always, stay tuned right here on the YouTube channel and Facebook page for the Tyler Warner Show. The champion of game day catering is the official meatball of the Tyler Warner Show, Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs.
We prepare our balls over time, and that's the essence of the preparation.
On top of that, another trademark of Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs is Brady's signature rubbing process.
When I pick balls out, to me, they're perfect. I don't want anyone touching the balls after that. I don't want anyone rubbing them. To me, those balls are perfect.
What is a concern is the texture of the balls, and again, that's the point that Tom hit on hard.
The champion of all game day catering dishes is Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs, the official meatball of the Tyler Warner Show.
Hi there, I'm Hank Hill. Well, I'd like to tell you what Strickland can do to meet your energy needs. You see, at Strickland, the customer comes first. It's kind of interesting. The word customer begins with CU. Well, we don't see you as just another sale, but as a member of our team. I thought you might enjoy 7.5 gallons of pure premium propane. Strickland Propane, the customer comes first.
Attention parents. Is your under 18-year-old daughter being cyber-stalked by a man who identifies themselves as a grown adult male?
I want to meet you and fool around. Are you up to meeting tonight, hon? I think I would like to shower with you. We can do it in the shower, too.
If so, you need to contact Chris Hansen and Company to bust these online cyber-stalkers.
How are you tonight? Why don't you have a seat there and get comfortable for that? I guess you're going to tell me next that this is the very first time you've done something like this.
Chris Hansen and the Dateline crew will take care of it. Contact us, and we will put an end to the cyber stalking that your daughter is experiencing.
Well, there's something you got to know. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators.